from Gurgaon and other parts of Delhi, Noida. Finding time with the almost starting weekend and being here for a formal weekend in the evening with the suits and ties and jackets. Thank you for your time. As I start, I would like to take the opportunity to welcome some of the well-known leaders in the panel. I warmly welcome Mr. Vineet Nair. Thanks for your time and being with us today. I think you all are very happy to be here. So thanks for taking this time. It's an opportunity to have Mr. V. Ranganathan here, who is the chair for Jury for Excellence Awards and Recognition for Shared Services Forum. Welcome, Mr. Ranganathan. Very good evening to each one of you here. I think I know people have traveled from Pune. Thanks for taking efforts to travel all the way to the here. So it's really, really nice to see you all here. As you would be knowing about, few of you would be very much knowing about who am I. My name is Rakesh Sinha, and few would be not knowing me. So my name is Rakesh Sinha, and I'm the governing board member for Shared Services Forum and also one of the co-founders for Shared Services Forum. Goodbye actually started about 8-9 years back in 2011. Shared Services Forum. It started with a lot of passion and the vengeance, if I can say that. And I always repeat this in the story because what happened was there was a lot of conferences, events which were happening outside India, and a lot of best practices, benchmarks. We were promised to be the benchmarks. They are surveyed leaders across the globe, and we realized that about 57%, 55% of the IT-related services and sports happens in the land of India. And the years here, we're not getting much of opportunity to participate in some of those. Honestly, a few years we were able to travel and participate in those events outside, and that was the reason I, along with a few of my colleagues, felt that it's need to have a shared services forum in India, which brings the people together to talk about some of the best practices and benchmarks, success stories, at the same time failures, learners and challenges, because it's important to share those challenges and learnings, because sometimes it's just not about success stories, also about learnings and failures. It's important to share. So the Shared Services Forum started with a whole objective of, if I can say, more things, enabling exchange of best practices, success stories, knowledge dissemination, research, etc., etc. There was some research which was conducted by Shared Services Forum over the last 8 years, including some of the context setting, tool setting research reports, which was well received by many of the industry leaders in terms of how to fit business services space. The second area which was very critical was to have bring the people together as a community, either through an event or beyond the event. I know, for example, now we have a small WhatsApp group which is functional in multiple parts of the country where leaders are connecting with each other, sharing their thoughts, posting questions. And now, as we are going into the year of 2019, we are making it much beyond centrally run shared services to a local chapter. So we have identified 7 chapters in the cities where we have a number of these informal connects happening across the city of local chapters. The third, which became very interesting and which was very critical for us, and it took us some time, and I think that's where I think I would like to really pass on all the acknowledgement or sincere thanks to some of our jury panelists. Excellence Awards and Recognition. There were a lot of awards in different industry and spaces. What we're realizing was a lot of milestones, a lot of major achievements have been achieved by our shared services organizations, leaders. And that is where we started with this Excellence Awards and Recognition. Connecting almost like the 3 parts of it, which is the organizations who have achieved the best practices or deliver a business impact to the business processes, redesign, effective adoption, automation, etc. So one is an organization part of it, in-company part of it, to get an acknowledgement to the Excellence Awards and Recognition. Second is to the leaders who have been there, done that, and not just impacted the industry. Uh, they have created industry, and they have also impacted society, which is much larger in the context. So some of this pioneering business leader, as we call it, were identified for felicitation, for recognition, more so for people like me, who still believes young. I can believe that. So, yeah, who wants to hear some of those pioneering business leaders and learn from them that what they really went through the journey, and what kind of impact they left on the table. The third element of the Excellence Award was also to look at some of the achievers, as we call it, who are still in the industry, uh, have delivered substantial business impact, be one of the role models, and they continue to be part of this industry to really further add, contribute, grow. Those were identified, and I think obviously every year we have a list of where we present to you and always very clinical to ask some tough questions, and on the basis that they are identified and then we go on those BPM achievers as we call it. That's what the Excellence Awards and recognition sign. The other thing which we are trying as part of this shared services forum is also to start, and we just started with this, to create a pool of knowledge through our knowledge portal, shared services forum portal. There are different levels of privileges to the access to the portal, the platinum member, to gold member, to complete member. And there's a lot of knowledge which is available on this portal for leaders like you to use it. At the same point of time, we welcome each one of you to contribute to that knowledge as well, because we have a quarterly journal called Process Edge, which welcomes each one of you to contribute as an article, as a knowledge to the Process Edge. So feel free to provide your knowledge, and each one of us, we believe, as a practitioners, having a knowledge which is very valuable. And that has been the focus fundamentally in Shared Services Forum, which we meet here. We have done conclaves, 8 conclaves, annual conclaves. We have now, since last year, gone functional with HR, finance, with IT, we're starting. So, HR Summit, Finance Summit, and we've gone across the country now, beyond Delhi to Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, and so on and so forth. Now we'll be adding 2 more cities here. We have been privileged to create some path-breaking models. One of the models which we are very proud and we feel was interesting last year was moving from tech enabled to tech integrated. And we released a model called TIPS, tech integrated business services. Process maturity model. We have 3I frameworks. We have 5R metamorphosis on digital, how to look at digital transformation. On a digital, again, one is more technical, other is more about leadership dimension, which is PX quotient, which is looking at how ready as an organization you are, how ready as an organization you are to lead in terms of deployment. Given all this context, what are we going to expect in the evening? And what we expect in the evening is a thunder. As I say, I think a special address from Mr. Vineet Nayak. I think I don't need to read his profile. You can see in the guides, and I'm sure 90% of you know the details of the Vineet Nayak profile. And some will be knowing at least something about it. I think he is one of the role models to the system. So we are all going to wait to hear you. I request all of you to just do a round of applause for me, please. So thunder will not stop there. There will be a storm after that, because Sanjay is going to take a stage after that to pick what we call a panel and viewership interaction. So this is where there's an opportunity for each one of you to participate. Obviously, you can't have 90 chairs here, so we thought we'll have a couple of chairs for a couple of people sitting here as part of the panel. But each one of you will be participating in that conversation is the intent today. And what we are focusing on the overall evening, what actually we want all of us to take away from today's evening is the 2 dimensions, if I can say that. How to look at the leadership dimension from there's not being talked about digital innovation, transformation, but there's an element of leadership. There's an element of that inspired leadership which drives those changes, transformation, metamorphosis, and so on and so forth. That is one dimension of the whole deliberation today. Second dimension is also about technical elements of it. How to look at sometimes, we all talk about digital and morning to wake up and talk about things like robotics. Everybody talks about RPA. And this is one of the findings which we have in the research also to say that robotics is one thing which is being maximum embraced by each and every organization. The challenge is how well, the challenge is how effective, the challenge is how scalable it is, and so on and so forth. And that is where it's more about looking at the dimension about the will and the skill put together as part of the deliberation. So that's the focus of the evening broadly. And we want to go back home after these deliberations with some ideas of the winning edge, as they call it, winning edge. So it should be provided to some edge. At the same point of time, after the deliberations here, we will have an opportunity to informally spend some time, talk with each other. We'll have after dinner and time for work with each other. That's the whole intent and the plan for this evening. Sounds good? Thank you. So as we move on, I would request Ravi to join us on the stage. I'm sure you know Mr. Ravi Ramakrishnan, CEO of Group, and also the founder for the Shared Services Forum. Ravi, welcome. I request Mr. V. Ranganathan to be chair for Shared Services Forum's Excellence Awards and Recognition to join us on the stage, please. I was expecting one more jury member, Mr. Ram Monson, to join us as well. I think it's still to be here, as he will come in. Ram said he will be here, so he's leaving the way. But that's fine, we'll continue with the show. I request Ravi to just pass on a small moment of thank you to Ranga for all the support, guidance. Ravi, if you could just give a thank you moment to Ranga, please. So with this, the time has come to move to the important element of the evening, and I very humbly and kindly request Mr. Vineet Nair to join us on the stage, please. So before we request Mr. Nair to come here and address us, we missed him on 30th of November in Bangalore. I'm sure few of you will be there in Bangalore for this evening. So the full event, it's a complete conflict. So as I was talking about, Shared Services Forum has initiated this process of felicitating, recognizing those leaders, pioneering leaders who have not just made an impact to a company or industry, but created industry, encouraged industry, and made a lot of impact on the society. Made an impact with the leaders like us who are taking responsibility for the next generation of the organizations. So Meet has been one of those, and we are very privileged to have him here. We would like to pass on a trophy as our felicitation, recognition award, and request Mr. Ranganathan to do the citation and hand over the trophy to Mr. Vineet Nair. Can you do the trophy, please?
One of India.
Good evening, everyone, and some of you have seen my face over a period of time here. I've been on this jury for I don't know how long. So I think people do retire, and I've been telling Ravi that you should probably find somebody else next year because it is important to bring in fresh stocks into these areas. Anyway, just to quite an enjoyable journey, I would say, with Rakesh and his team and Ravi, and they have certainly evolved phenomenally in the last many years, and the processes are extremely robust and copious, I would say, data with respect to analyzing various varied shades of excellence in various categories. And I'm very happy here that I'm able to hold this coffee in my hand, and of course I will give it to Mr. Vinit Nayak. This is the 8th annual Global Business Services Excellence Awards, pioneering business leader Mr. Vinit Nayak, creativity, innovation, and leading global IT and IT-enabled services mission, delivering value and impact to business, industry, and society. Congratulations, Mr. Vinit Nayak. Thank you, Mr. Raghunathan. Thank you, Ravi. It was wonderful to It was a wonderful opportunity to felicitate Mr. Nayak, and thank you, Mr. Nayak, for giving this opportunity and wonderful wishes to you. As I was saying, personally, I feel very humbled to look up to you for some of the encouraging stuff that you have done in the industry. I'm sure some of this will be great. So, speaking all of it to you. You're okay with this, Mike? You want to call it Mike? You okay with this? Thank you.
This clock shows that I have 19 minutes. Is that what you want?
We're good at 30 minutes.
Okay, good evening. Thanks a lot for this recognition. Although when they first shared with me, I said I don't deserve it because I'm a retired IT guy, although I'm very actively involved in advising on IT, but not an operating manager. But I'm using technology extensively to bring happiness to 7 million children. I think that is giving me a completely different kind of joy. Just talking to Ranga, and he was also talking about the fact that he quit 12, 13 years ago to attempt to do something different. And I think it's a joyful journey, which is what I'm embarked on. And thank you for this recognition. And greatly appreciate the opportunity of meeting all of you now and over cocktails and dinner and exchanging notes on what you are struggling with and how you can overcome that. I've been asked to talk about a subject which is very close to my heart, which is around leveraging innovation for transformation. And I start that journey of thinking with a story. And the way the story goes, let me try and get a time check in. The clock is not giving me a time check. Okay. So the way the story goes is that there were a couple of ants sitting in a shared services forum, and they were talking with each other and talking about the joys of life and saying how life is good. But they were very ambitious ants. And so one of them got up and said, you know what, I want to be the biggest CEO the world has seen. And everybody clapped, that's a great ambition. The second ant says, actually, I'm very a sports enthusiast and I want to be the fastest ant. I want to be faster than 2 semicolons. And the third ant said, you guys are lazy guys. You know what? I like to be richer than Mukesh Ambani, right? I like the house, and I like a house which is twice its size. You know, I like a marriage which is also twice its size. So all these ants were having these conversations, talking about their aspirations and feeling good about it. But there was this one bunny ant which was looking outside the window with leg up and laughing her head off. And these guys went down on him and saying, what are you doing? Why are you laughing? And why are you ignoring all our aspirations and ambitious statements? And you can learn a lot from that. And she turned to them and saying, I'm laughing because I don't want to be in the ant anymore. I want to be a butterfly. And the day a person recognizes that there are 6 billion ants in the world, and being one more ant will not help you or the world, is the day a butterfly is born. Transform, as the word says, is to change the form of something permanently. It's not incremental image. It is changing the form of something permanently. And if you want to be in the business of transformation, whether it is your life, whether it's your children's life, or whether it's your team, whether it's your company, if you are in the business of transformation, you cannot do that by being an ant. So the first question in the evening we will ask is that if you do not wish to engage in conversations around transformation only at the language level, but want to think deeper about how it impacts you and people around you, then the first thing you have to stop is thinking like an ant. So let's start this journey of trying to think about how we can be transformers ourselves, how we can be butterflies in our own respective lives. And I always believe that butterflies and ants are not about successes and failures. But it is better to attempt something and fail rather than attempt something which everybody else has done. So let's try with the theoretical framework first, because you come from shared services, you always like a framework, and we heard a few frameworks before. So I will give you a definition framework, and we will walk into this journey of what potentially could get you there. The definition framework is the definition of a high performance team or a high performance individual, or a high impact team and a high impact individual. A high performance or a high impact individual or a team is one which does stuff which others consider impossible. So if you are in the business of doing stuff which others consider impossible, then you are a high performance team or a high impact individual. Now, the only way you can do the impossible or what others consider impossible is by spending significant time in temptation. And therefore, it is impossible, it is very important for us to now dig into what is impossible. And if you understand that definition of impossible, and understand that if you are attempting the impossible long enough, hard enough, you would have an opportunity to be a high impact individual or a team, and hence a butterfly. The definition of impossible comes from a magician. When a magician does a trick in front of you, he cuts a girl into half, flies her off, or throws sand on you and vanishes, or brings a helicopter on the stage, you call it impossible. The reason you call the magic trick impossible is because it is outside your boundaries of logic and reason. But it is within the boundaries of logic and reason of the magician. So the trick of the impossible is to try and make more and more things within your boundaries of logic and reason by stretching those boundaries of logic and reason. If you keep yourself, your thought, your actions, your aspirations, your ambition within the boundaries of logic and reason, there is no way impossible will happen, and there is no way transformation will happen. So the question is, how do you stretch the boundaries of logic and reason, despite the fact that everybody around you will tell you it is impossible? How do you learn the art of turning around to those sets of people and saying, that is exactly why I'm doing it, because it is impossible? And how do you increase your chances of success in trying to make that possible? I come down to 5 ideas. And now these are short ideas, but I think if you think about these ideas, maybe it will trigger some thought in your mind for you to transform yourself as you walk away from this meeting tonight. And think about issues with what I call different tension. The first originates from a story of my childhood. I was about 7 years old. My father was in employee of National Environment Research Institute in Nagpur, and we got transferred. He got a job in the university in Pantnagar, which is in the foothills of Himalayas. And we were on a train journey from Nagpur to Pantnagar, and the train stopped at Ratlam station. We were on a second class or third class compartment at that particular time, and it was pretty hot. And I somehow was awake. I was in the top floor, topmost berth of the train, because there is where we were 3 brothers, so your mother and father will throw you up so that you are safe. So I decided to get down, not only from my berth, but from the train. So I was at the station, and it was a fascinating view. It was really fascinating. And the reason is that the stations have always attracted me. My grandfather was, selling cigarettes on the station, and therefore he would take me whenever I go on a holiday to his place. He'd take me to the stations. Always, railway stations have fascinated me because it's a humanity coming together in a form and shape which you don't see anywhere else. So while I was fascinated with what was happening, the train started moving. And when I looked back and the train was moving, I was pretty confident that I would be able to catch it because I was cocky, I was confident, and as you would know, nothing has changed. So the moment the train started moving, I started running behind the train, pretty confident I'll catch it. I caught hold of the pole and pulled myself up, only to realize that when you have running feet and you are a 7-year-old, you don't have the strength in the arm to pull yourself up on the train. So I fell. That's the first time I experienced what I call doubt. Till that time, I didn't have any doubt about anything in my life. But I got up and I decided to run after the train once again. This time, I pushed myself harder, pulled myself harder, and fell harder. And this is the first time a new word came to my head: fear. Then I got up, I ran again, pushed harder, pulled harder, fell harder. Panic. This is the time I had a choice to make. Now it was very clear that the train was running faster than I could run. It was clear that there is no way I could pull myself on the train. And therefore I had a choice to stand and cry, fire, or to run after that impossible train which I had no chance to catch. I don't know what came to my mind, but I decided to run after the train. So I started running again. And this time I was clear that I had fear, I had doubt, I had panic. In the end, I ran behind an impossible train. And from the corner of my eyes, I saw this lady who was selling vegetable vendor. She was selling chocolates. She ran, caught hold of my knicker, and threw me in the dark compartment. And that was the last compartment. And she threw me there. And sheepishly, I joined my parents, and I don't know what life would be if I had not joined them. But the learning from that moment were two big moments for me. Number one is that if you are not chasing impossible dreams in life and taking chances which appear to be impossible, unreasonable, irrational, nobody will throw you on a train you don't belong. But if you are chasing, if you're in the business of chasing impossible trains, then there are some trains somebody will throw you which you don't belong. And therefore, the first principles of doing the impossible or transforming your life, your team, your company is take chances. And if you take enough chances, I truly believe there is a possibility of the impossible happening. And actually, that story of the train will come back to Sampark Foundation in a way. Is when Sampark Foundation was also born. That we actually at Sampark Foundation are doing exactly that. Are in the business of trying to throw people on trains, on the education train, on the life train, where people have given up, they don't think they belong. So the first principle was to try and take chances. The second is complete irrationality of expectation. If you are rational, if you can have expectations which can be computed on an Excel sheet, then forget being a butterfly, forget transformation. There has to be a complete irrationality of expectations from yourself first. There is nothing rational about it. I was in a small town, and when my father died pretty early, we had only 312 rupees in our bank account. We were three brothers, I was still in school. And there was a huge irrationality in the expectations which my mother had from the family, and slowly that slipped into us. And saying we will not only survive, but we as a family will do extremely well. There was never a doubt in our mind. And there was never a doubt in my mind. I did not know what I would do, but I did know that whatever I would do, it would be good. And therefore, that irrationality of expectation it's not ambition. I'm not a big fan of ambition because I don't understand what ambition is. Ambition is a statement of intent, and intent is not good enough. I believe that you will always underperform your aspiration. So what is your aspiration? If your aspiration is not irrational, if I had not inspired, so I joined HCL in 1985. I got fired in 3 months' time. And then I had a irrational dream of starting my own company, which grew to multi-billion dollars. I had an irrational dream of transforming HCL. And we did that. We took it from $1.4 billion market cap to about $20 billion market cap today. I had an irrationality of expectation of the fact that we can transform learning outcomes for rural children in 76,000 schools for 7 million children. All these are irrational. Only if you have irrational expectations from yourself, from your team, from your purpose, from your goal, you have a chance to succeed. So the second mantra for success, if you want to be in transformation, is to have irrationality of expectation. The third is, the whole word called imperfection. What is happening when you look around yourself, you will find that you are resource-starved. You don't have the right set of people, you don't have the right amount of money, you're not in the right market, you don't have the right product, you don't have the right mandate from the board, and therefore, what I call it as an imperfect environment. And one of the things which many people realize who are transformers is the reason they are born and the reason they are transformers is because they thrive in imperfect worlds. If everything was perfect, why would you succeed? So a diamond cutter gets excited with rough diamond, not with polished diamond. A potter gets excited with rough clay, not with a made-up pot. And therefore, if you truly wish to transform your life, somebody else's life, business, profits, Wherever you see imperfection, you should feel excited because there are very few people who can navigate through imperfection. And therefore, the art of getting excited about imperfection, the art of converting imperfection environment into positive actions of trying to make some sense out of that imperfection is the unique art of being a butterfly, is the unique art of being a transformer. The ants, when they see a ball in front of them, will turn right. A butterfly, when they see a ball in front of them, will say, "This is the reason I was born." And therefore, will attempt to fly over the wall. How many professionals try and understand it? And the day you stop complaining about situations around you, the day you stop complaining about environment, resources, people, lack of it, attitudes, board approvals, environment, politics, and the sharper you focus your attention, imagine a plumber walking to a house to try and fix a leak where there is no leak. The plumber will be without a job. So the plumber is in the business of getting into houses which are full of leaks. And if you want to be a plumber in life, you have to learn the art of getting excited about houses with leaks. And the day you spot houses with leaks, you should say, "Wow, now I know why I did one." So that's the third one. Take chances, irrationality of expectation, and try and get excited about imperfections. The fourth is a very interesting aspect is that the manufacturing age was all about managing. The manufacturing era increased productivity by 10 times, predominantly because it was, and that is the birth of the ideas and the science of management, because it was about putting people together to deliver more than what an individual could do. So if 10 individuals could do, and you in shared services understand this very well, if 10 individuals could produce 10 individually, putting them together in a system, process, automation, technology would produce 100. Now, that all was in the manufacturing era, and therefore all the management principles which were born were for the manufacturing era, and we call that industrialization of our economy, industrialization. And that industrialization tremendously improved well for many, many people. But after that came the innovation age. The innovation age was not about organizing people to produce more. It was about organizing people to get more per unit of human capital, which was innovation. So the question in front of us was not how you put people together to drive productivity, drive efficiency, but how do you put people together to drive innovation? Now that was a very different question compared to the question which we had put ourselves before, and therefore most HR organizations failed, predominantly because they were always in the business of managing people who were not producing innovation, whereas they should be in the business of inspiring people to produce innovation. There is no art, there is no book, there is no course on how we inspire people. But if you want to be an innovative organization, if you want to have innovation in new processes, innovation on doing new things, innovation on new culture, you need to inspire people. And there is where employee first, customer second was born. When we were in 2005, $1.4 billion, $700 million, $1.4 billion market cap, $700 million revenue, the question in front of 35,000 employees was, how do we transform ourselves? And the idea of transformation of ourselves was the fact that if we could be, as management, in the business of infusing, encouraging, enabling the employees, and allow the employees who are customer facing to be in the business of creating unique experiences for our customers, we would be an innovative organization which would grow faster than our competition. So our journey from $700 million to $6 billion with a peak of recession, $1.4 billion market cap to $20 billion market cap, was fulcrumed around a single idea. And that idea is, can you inspire 100,000 employees, which is where we ended, by inverting the organization pyramid and making the management accountable to the employees. So my appraisal for the 8 years I was in HCL Technology was done by 100,000 employees, and the results were published on the web for all to see. And it was a pre-declared idea that I would be fired by the employees and the board, but by the employees, if my rating went below 8 on a 9-point scale, I will lose the right to inspire them, lose the right to lead them, and therefore I lose my job. So remember I talked about take chances with new ideas, have irrationality of expectations, get excited about the fact that HCL Technology was not doing well, and then get into the business of inspiring people, and they will do the rest. And that's exactly what Steve Jobs did. You know, books after books have been written about Steve Jobs, or Jack Welch for that matter, and every time you read, and there is nothing called good about both of them. Steve Jobs was an obnoxious manager, very difficult to work. But the reason people would work for him is he would take their benchmark completely up. Very good product design, and he will just rip it apart. He will not only rip it apart, he will physically destroy the product. And then the team will go back and come up with a completely, he will redefine everything. That's the reason his products are so beautiful. It's because he kept on pushing his team to define newer and newer benchmarks for success. He redefined everything. He redefined looks, he redefined UI, he redefined everything. And same is true with Jack Welch. As far as Jack Welch was concerned, you are either number one in an industry or number two, or he sold the business. Throughout his 20 years, he sold every single business. The manager was not number one or number two. Irrational. Take chances. Push the team. But inspire them. Give them the opportunity to lead. Inspire them. But push them to do the impossible. You can't inspire them by taking them to a beer bar. You inspire them by attempting to do which nobody else has done before. And that is what Bhumi states. He pushes the team. I mean, you look at the fitness levels, he pushes the team so hard. Or Ronaldo, or any of these guys, great leaders you see, they push the team hard, they inspire them, and they inspire them with a vision of doing the stuff nobody else has attempted to do before. And the last is the magic. All this happens and the magic comes together. And the magic will come together because these are stuff which ants don't do. These are stuff which butterflies do. And the way this magic comes together is in the story which I would share in the end of a grandmother, let me call her the mom. When she walks up to her child and picks up a child in India, a newly born child, she picks up the child and defines a vision for the child. Your fingers are long and you will be an artist. Your forehead is broad and you'll be a NASA scientist. Or your legs are long and you will be a P.T. Usha or a Hussein Bolt. And everybody in the family believes in vision. There is no rationality of the vision. There is no data. There is no analysis. And yet, the grandmother, when she picks up and defines the vision for the girl, everybody believes. It is irrational, yet everybody believes. And that is the magic of being a butterfly. The day you define a vision for your team, which is irrational, which is impossible, which is inspirational, and the day everybody believes in that vision, not in you, because you are irrelevant. You are this obnoxious guy who keeps pushing. But get inspired by the vision you have defined, that is the day the magic happens. That is the day a butterfly is born. That is the day of transformation. Happy transformation. Thank you. I'll be happy to take a few questions. I'm sorry. Do we have time? Okay. 1 or 2 questions, if there are any. Otherwise, we move on with the evening. Yes, there's a lady out there.
Question. What you're saying now about becoming a butterfly. And there's a very interesting book by Trina Pauls. I don't know whether you know that, called Book of the Flowers. I think what you're saying is very much, echoed there. The difference is that it is more about following the beaten track to reach the top, and it's like everyone trampling over each other, and then making a choice that no matter what is on top, I will not lord the trodden path to get there. I will try to transform into a butterfly, make the choice to give up everything in the hope that you will be able to do something better with your existence. And that book, I think, is an interesting. I mean, I have been in IT all along and actually ran a training program around the book for teens, so that they could learn that you don't have to indulge in office politics or pull other people down to get ahead. I think you should, if you're not ready, that could be a book that would resonate a lot with what you're saying.
I will do that. I have a suggestion for you.
Yep.
Take my book and do the next session. It should be a unique experience.
I will certainly do that.
I
I was a colleague of Anand.
I will just
See you.
Thank you.
So I just want to ask you that you talk about these imperfect conditions, and I'm sure you must have faced a lot in your industrialist career. But is there a personal mantra in terms of when everything is not going right, and how do you calm yourself and how do you actually take it to the next level? Because you're also a human after all, and you must be also sometimes saying that things are not working out, but then the perseverance actually got to the next level. So, what was your personal mantra to actually get through those imperfect situations?
Yeah, I don't think I have a personal mantra because I get frustrated very fast. So to me, finding meaning for life was very important. And my mother played a very important role in my life. And she defined this architecture for me, which actually is when I discovered stability, which I'll share with you. So she says that the fundamental need for you is going to be try and find financial security. And the definition of financial security is stretchable by many. And there are lots of billionaires who still open the Pope magazine to say, am I number one, number two? They'll never be able to spend their billions. Their son-in-laws or daughter-in-laws will eat all of that. But they're still not satisfied. So when do you get satisfied with the financial security? You have enough. The second is need for recognition, that you are the best in your profession. You are a CFO, you're the best in class, or you are a technology guy, you're the best in class. And a lot of us have need for recognition to be the best in ourselves. And it is important to fulfill that need if you're a professional. And then you slowly realize that neither the financial security, neither the recognition gives you joy in life. What gives you joy in life is by touching other people's life, by transforming other people's life, by inspiring others, by the whole giving. Giving is not philanthropy, or giving is inspiring people, putting a hand around somebody. It means different things to different people. And doing more and more of that, and you discover that actually that gives you a lot of joy. And then in the end, it is the fact that the recognition is the fact that you're not responsible for any of the bottom three, which is not a state which I've reached to try and understand that it's not in your hands, you are a current yogi. But as you walk through this journey, what I discovered is I was the most frustrated in the first pursuit. And I would get very upset. In my second pursuit also, I would get very upset. As I moved to the third pursuit, and between my second pursuit and third pursuit, I discovered that my frustration is on the task, not on myself. And therefore, I can outdo the task. So it always becomes an intellectual challenge for me. In terms of if something comes up, I start thinking like a plumber. So yes, I feel frustrated, but there is a positive frustration, which was not what was there in the first one. So my advice to you is be carefully where you are. Try and move up the value curve as fast as possible, but fulfill all those needs. And then whenever you're faced with a situation which is very frustrating, try and rationalize it. and try and see if you can find the plumber, within you, and that will help you deal with that situation better. Okay? Thank you. Yes, and you need to tell me when I need to stop.
I think it's probably something similar. So many of us, I think, are that we're living the lives of like those 6 billion ants. And to break the glass ceiling, you mentioned all these four things, but it's also about finding one's purpose. And like you said, the meaning in life. How does one go about finding that purpose?
I think it's a wonderful question, and as a CEO of HCL Technology, I used to travel in private jets. So I will start at New York and gain the 3 hours and take many meetings and land in San Francisco to try and see if I can have a 12-hour day rather than an 8-hour day. And from there, traveling in Indigo to Chhattisgarh in Uttarakhand was quite a change. And I think I still don't know my purpose in life. What motivates me is not purpose. I don't think, and I would say this, yes, it is the plight of the children which we are working with in Sampark Foundation. We are helping a lot of children, but I don't think that's the purpose of my life. What excites me is the fact that social innovation is an untouched subject. And if you can bring innovation in the way we deliver education, so we use an audio device, we use app, we use a very sophisticated, we are only about 150 employees, and yet we reach 76,000 schools. So we use the highly leveraged model. We deliver this in less than $1 per child per annum. I think the excitement of the innovation, the excitement of trying to solve a problem everybody else has said it is impossible to solve, try and solve it in a bootstrap fashion, try and solve it in a way nobody else has done before, is exciting. So I think if you are a professional, and you are, and you work in some of the brightest organizations, I think finding intellectual stimulation by focusing on innovation that impacts human beings rather than in the business of doing good. I think if professionals like you are only focused on doing good, you'll get bored. Because it is boring, and we did that. Me and my wife started Sampark Foundation in 2005. By 2012, we cut a lot of checks, but we didn't create any impact. Not that we have created impact now, I don't know whether we created or not, but at least now we're giving our time, our money, our resources, and everything, and we put all our energy behind that innovation, which is very critical. So as long as you focus on innovation, I think I think because we are ants of the corporate world. I'm also an ant, right? We are ants of the corporate world, but we feel excited about that innovative stuff which we have done in the corporate world. And therefore, if we can keep on doing that innovative work, I think we'll succeed. Yes.
Very thanks for sharing the insights. Very motivating. One question, you shared your journey from 700 million to 1.4 billion to 20 million. So you were the CEO and you were taking a lot of decisions. So did anyone who kind the fear of failure, how did you overcome this? Because that's the most difficult thing to be a doctor as operator. There's always a fear of failure, taking decisions. And there's nobody to prevent it, and we are not able to take it. So your journey is remarkable, and you are a good model for many of us. Can you share some more examples of fear of failure and how you overcome it?
Yeah, I think fear of failure is, if you are really healthy, fear of failure is your drug, right? Because that gives you the kick. That gets you in your top agenda. For example, I was coming there. It was very important for me to get my message across. So was I nervous? Yes, this must be my 10,000 speech. But yes, because that gets you to think, that gets you to not just walk here with any message. So so that fear of failure is a very important ingredient to maintain. Otherwise, you get cocky, you stop listening. You're an explorer. Even Einstein, till his last day, was always exploring, was always afraid. Am I right? Am I wrong? Am I right? Am I wrong? And that's a very important aspect of success. The second thing which is very important is to try and understand that you are, in most situations, the wrong person for the right job. And you have to understand your irrelevance in the moment. And if you understand the irrelevance of the moment, that means you say, I don't have it, but somebody else has it. That is the time you discover why you have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You start listening. You start surrounding yourself with smart people. You start looking for data. You start looking for words. You start looking for trends. You start looking at all that stuff, and you say, my business is not to know. My business is to connect the unconnected. So the day you realize the distinction and difference between knowledge, that I have more knowledge than you have, and the fact that I'm actually not knowledgeable, others are, therefore I will listen, but I will connect the stuff they have not connected before. So you can sit in the meeting, speak the least, but connect the most, and therefore your decisions will be the best. The day you understand it and you combine it with the fear of failure, magic happens.
Maybe. We have talked about the transformation that can be done, how we are doing, and you have also, through some work, integrated large number of students into that. However, in schools, etc., I understand they are not so much a
Mike.
they are delivering education,
इसकी
how
बात
they
की session
do
ना
better things. And if
वो
I
बात की
this
session
concept
है
of transformation to the
आनंद
industry,
session
can you throw some light, how can we have a collaboration in competition?
एक
How can we have a collaborative innovation coming into this? Otherwise, we are all looking at as an individual, either the person or to the company. You can transform your company, you can have a millionaire, you can reach somewhere. But is that what is ultimately serving the humanity? Or say, for example, in India, if all the competitive people, say in auto industry, all the auto industry guys come together and then try and do a collaborative innovation and then move it, which probably would be more important than we go to the digitalization and industry 4 when we are reaching. I think this aspect would become more critical. Can you have your views on this?
Yeah, so my views are a bit controversial on this. And part of my saying that, you know, so the difference between monkeys and a lion is a lion, you know, once he scratches the tree, then he's alone. And the monkeys hang together. If you take any big innovator and any big innovation, most of them, not all, have not come out of collaboration. They have come from fierce competition. Steve Jobs hated Bill Gates, and that hate created the products he created. If he had collaborated with Bill Gates, I think he would have created the nonsense Apple is creating now. I think it is important to understand where does your motivation come from. And in human beings, competition creates motivation to inspire, to innovate, to be better. That's what Olympics is all about. That's what sports is all about, is to become the fastest, the best. Nobody. When the high school or when the high jump was being done, the first guy to innovate was the guy who did the flip on the back, right? And that's how the world record was broken, and then continuously it was broken. So therefore, while collaboration is critical from an execution point of view, collaboration is not critical from a transformation and innovation point of view. The best collaborative innovations are Wikipedia, which are impactful but not great. Unix as an operating system, Linux as an operating system. These are good. These are great examples of collaboration. But if you look at what competitive spirit have created as innovators, which is Facebooks and Twitters and health in healthcare, Johnson Johnson, or the gene engines which are self-governing. All these innovators are coming out of competition. So I would believe that the spectrum of innovation is pro-competition, where you want to be the best compared to your neighbor, and the spectrum of execution is more collaborative. So depending on which industry you are in, what frame of reference you are in, that's the way I look. Thank you so much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Vineet, for such an insightful session.
There are
And,
no
so the Q&A also was very insightful. Thanks for your time and thanks for such an insights. I'm sure you all have really enjoyed it and had a lot of takeaways for us. I've seen people making notes, maybe rational notes, but they are notes. And we all could relate with the ideas of ant to a butterfly and could relate with a lot of those thoughts. So thank you for those insightful conversations. Really appreciate that. And on behalf of Shared Services Forum, I request Ravi to pass on a moment of thank you for your time. I've been told, sorry, Vineet and Ravi, just request you to stay there. I request Mr. Ranganathan to join us for a photograph. I've been told one more photograph is required for some tweeting. So if you don't mind, please join us in the stage. You can just stand at this. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Vineet. Thanks, Mr. Ranganathan. Thanks, Ravi. We'll move to the next part of the evening. Further, I request you to take over from you. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, everybody. So I'll not take up much time here. I'll just quickly move on to the next part of the session. We have a very interesting panel discussion today. A lot of you would have read about it in your mails and seen it in the delegate guide. So here we are. The topic for discussion is effective RPA deployment. What it takes. So may I invite upon stage one of our Shared Services Forum most endured person, Mr. Sanjay Gupta. He is the chief architect of the Shared Services Forum. I'll call upon Mr. Virendra Chhabra, Managing Director and CEO of SL Services. That's SL Business Excellence Services, SL Group. I'd like to call upon Mr. Rahul Puri, Head of Employer Relationships, ACCA, the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants. Thank you.
Hello and good evening. And the first thing I'd like to say is what an inspiring conversation we just had. It's very difficult to match up to the mood that we've set up, which has already been set up in the auditorium today, the hall today. Vineet's speech and talk has been truly inspirational. And whatever we're going to do is now, in comparison, something very different. But nevertheless, we try and stick to some of the principles that Vineet has laid out in front of us, and try and see how is it that we can begin to use some of them. My sense is that some of them instinctively we already use. Maybe we haven't crafted them as carefully and as elusively as Vineet has just done. But I believe that there is some level of instinctive use that we always put together, and it's already present in many of us who are leaders in our organization and in life. One of the things that we see is, for instance, that the white leak is that there is a lot of development in the world today, and especially in the IT area, where we have a lot of people who make newer things and are unable to actually put them to use or deploy. A very recent study that we did in Shell Services Forum found that while we talk about new age technologies in a very, very big way, this is the recent wave that has swept the country and the world in total, has really not been implemented very, very straightforward or very strongly within the organization. And there are today people who talk openly and very powerfully on new age technologies such as blockchain, for example. In fact, blockchain is now a conversation which is passing. No one really talks about it anymore because there are newer things that people talk about. A couple of years ago, Internet of Things was the most popular. Things like analytics, tools for analytics, things like RPA is actually old hat now. But we still found that a lot of organizations, especially organizations which are currently in India, the Indian resident organizations, are very hesitant. And another thing that we found was that it was not so much a skill issue, but more of a will issue. The intention of putting simple applications of automation was present, but not necessarily present to the degree and passion that it requires to be perfect. So we began to think about why is it that scaling up is an issue? Why is it that while POC, the proof of concept, was prevalent, but it could never get scaled to the level which it possibly is required? So we believe that the proof of the pudding is in the eating, but nobody is really eating the pudding extremely passionately. Everyone just about tasting it and letting it go. And so we did a little study around that to try and dig into the background, what's holding people back. And that is the main topic which I will request my panelists and everybody in this. So please do not consider yourself as audience in this one. We are as much as panelists like Rakesh said, we just have 3 seats to sit on, but we have these 80 chairs, almost equivalent panel. So while I request these 2 gentlemen who have the spotlight to share their thoughts, I'd also suggest and very welcome any comments that people have here. You can either throw problems and the reasons why they are having problems, or give opinions and views about how we can get some solutions. So with the introductions done, do you have label mic? So I can sit there, and I don't have a label mic, so I'm free to actually keep quiet and say nothing. The 2 gentlemen here will give their views. So I'll start with Rahul. Rahul, you represent an organization which is really a learning organization. You teach, and you create an environment where people actually get engaged and learn how to create business from theories. How do you see this problem that we've been tackling in a very big time? Digitization is something that is not necessarily taught on in a very big way, or is it that your experience is any different? So Rahul, over to you.
Thank you, Sajid. So I think digitization, specifically talking about RPA, I think I don't think RPA is any new to anyone anymore. If I look back almost 3 decades, probably something like Excel automation was always there. Use of coding language to be able to automate some of the clicks in Excel was always there. On a lighter note, I can also remember there were some movies that came out which spoke about having some automation, some robots, way back in the 1980s and the 1990s, and still about the recent movie that Rajnikant was the pioneer of Robot 2.2. So there's a lot of interesting conversation around the industry about robotics that is happening. Basically, as a professional of communication, also invest in a lot of research to be able to understand what is happening in the industry, not just to be able to figure out how the role of the finance and accountancy changing, but to be able to understand what is our effort to be able to ensure that the qualification is more business relevant and relevant for the students who are going through the qualification. So there is a lot of research, and we did a similar research on the topic of robotics to understand what is the current stage of acceptance, adoption, what is the current state of companies looking at, what kind of companies are looking at adopting RPA, what is the proof of concepts being done across the world. So we've done a lot of research on that, and we found that it's still at a stage where some of the largest organizations are pioneers of trying to use robots or have used robots, but at the same point of time, there are a lot of proof of concepts which are with companies which are still at a very initial stage of conceptualization, but really not getting into the real robotic mode. So I think as a professional body, our endeavor is to be able to make sure that our qualification is supporting businesses, not just from a perspective of being able to teach some of the basics of financial accountancy to people, but also to be able to help them become digitally savvy by various means, shape, and format. And I'll just give an example. So, from the traditional approach of being actually writing exams on a paper with a pen and a paper, and we've actually transformed our world of taking examinations by making them digital. So, all our students are now taking exams in a computer-based environment to be able to ensure that they are accustomed to digital. So that is one of the ways of what ACC is doing to make digitally equipped talent in the market.
Right. And so, Rahul, you believe that, we've historically seen finance to be the leader in most of these functions. If you look at it functionally, you see finance. So, do you think the finance organization in the world, especially in India, is actually poised for this? And, barring a few hesitational nods, etc., is there something that you've seen which is holding this thing back from it becoming a big issue, a big launch?
So Sanjay, there are a couple of things, and I'll speak based on the research that we've done. So this is a global research of 2,700 respondents, plus many use cases that we looked from various parts of the world. 70% of the respondents actually said that we don't understand what RPA is. We don't understand what are the kind of skills required to be able to implement RPA. So that was a huge understanding of misunderstanding or a knowledge gap that is coming through in the industry. So there are large organizations, some really large organizations which have a substantial financial prowess to be able to try concepts where RPA is being tried, they're implemented and they've been successful. But I think at the same point of time, when you look at some of the mid-sized organizations, it is still at a proof of concept stage. People are still not sure about how to go about it and be able to implement RPA. So that's where they are in their journey, and that's where they're also facing this very unique challenge of not just skill gap or knowledge gap, but also cultural change. A lot of companies, whenever they start talking about automation, first thing that they face as a challenge is resistance from employees, is resistance from the management. What will happen to my job is the first thing that I want to know. So I think that's where we've been able to understand a lot from a global perspective of where the issues stand.
Absolutely. I think the doubt and fear of failure can actually be a very big demotivator. So give that inertia. It's the doubt which holds people back. Let me now turn to cool person. He's so cool, he's called IC. So, IC, you are a user of digitalization, specifically RPA. You have implemented very bright ideas in your organization. So, what's been your experience? Has it been a difficult journey, and what really has worked for your organization for you to actually break that boundary and get to a stage of implementation? I know that you're having already implemented a lot, and your plans are very nice. So, want to hear a bit from you. Before I very candidly reply you this, I want to ask audience, how many digital employees are there globally at this point of time? Any guesses? We have over 150,000 in India. It's some 2 weeks back when I last checked. So they already have taken 150,000 jobs in India. Globally, they have taken 600,000 jobs. I also read that AI will take about 75 million jobs in a couple of years, say 5 years. Does it create any fear in any of you? That's good. There's absolutely nothing to fear because AI will also create 128 million jobs in the same period of time. So let me come back to your question now. So I feel there are three issues. I see that there's an intent issue, there's a capability issue, and there's a focus issue. I call intent issue as a cultural barrier, capability issue as a resource barrier, and focus issue as an implementation barrier. So let me explain each of these. Cultural barrier, as you rightly said, is that there's a fear in the people. And I see most of this fear is from a senior middle management team. By and large, there's a blessing from the top management. And resources in the lower pyramid, they're already digital savvy. They're not affected. This is only the senior middle management team who have grown and done very well in their life before the digital era. They think of losing their authority. They are not worried about their jobs. They're more worried about losing their authority. Second cultural is that if there is no coordination between IT and the business, that's again a cultural. The third would be the weak leadership. And fourth could be the blessings from the top lead. So these are basically four cultural barriers which I have noticed in my career of last 25 years. And it has nothing to do with RPA. This is to do with any transformation whatsoever anyone wants to implement. Resource barrier could be in terms of RPA or digital transformation, that you do not have adequate IT and business manpower. Skill gap can be a resource. Second would be that you do not have a right partner to implement. You can't do everything. You need a right partner. Selecting a right partner again is a resource. Third would be if IT and business are not talking to each other. Both of them know what is to be done, but they are not talking to each other. Again, is a resource barrier. It could be a budget or a financial barrier. So, if you do not have right budgets and you still want to embark on a journey of digital transformation, you are not ready. Again, it's a resource. So, even if you have both the things with you, you do not have a cultural barrier and you do not have a resource barrier. Implementation barrier is the most. What is important is to see who's driving this transformation. Or who's driving this? Is it a function who's driving it? Or is it all the functions who are driving it and each function is at a different maturity? There are all the chances for a failure if it is implemented in silos. To me, the solution is that you have to create a center of excellence for any transformation, whether it is RPA or any digital transformation. Because to me, RPA is one part of digital transformation. There are multiple transformations one has to do it. And this team is focused in speaking to all the related partners. It could be vendors or partners, it could be businesses, and it could be IT. And that's how you bring focus because of the knowledge and the processes which you adapt to transform the organization. And that, to me, is a mantra for any transformation because it has to have a focus and implementation strategy. No, absolutely, I totally agree with you. In fact, having silo-based or individual sectional-based approach to a issue which has a large far-reaching implication is absolutely disastrous. It's successful. It's a reason for failure most often. And making it strategic is the most important aspect of this. Not just that, one of the things that very rightly pointed out is that you just cannot have an RP kind of an implementation without it being a part of a larger digital agenda of the organization as such. The total digital agenda has to be merged very cohesively with the implementation of the. And these digital transformations are not projects. This is not a system integration. This is a continuous process. There is nothing like start, mid, and end. It is a continuous journey which everyone has to keep on moving. So today we are talking about RPA, tomorrow we will be talking about blockchain, and day after tomorrow another thing. So there are clearly three trends which I am observing now. One is the digital economy is going to be there. And this digital economy is going to transform the organization. And third is the creation of intelligent enterprise. While the first tool is primarily saying, okay, in a digital economy, we will go and buy bots on a marketplace like Amazon, where we are saying for applications, for SAP and Oracle, there's an X bot, and for functions like procurement, finance, and HR, there's going to be Y and Z bots. So this is going to be there, this is going to be a feature. But one thing which is important, the trend which I am seeing is the formation of intelligent enterprise, where big data, real time, and predictive analytics are the foundation of intelligent enterprise. And where we want to go is creation of machine intelligence and machine learning in an artificial intelligence to the existing processes. Cloud is just a start. Building agile cloud processes where customer would decide how they want to interact with you, that's something where the things are going. No, great. Thanks, Razi. So let me just very quickly get back to the larger thing. I'm assuming that there will be many people here in this forum who would have implemented bots, but various other digital technologies, new technologies. I'm not sure that there are a few that I know personally. But let me just ask, how many people in this within your organization have already implemented some form of automation programs within their companies? Can I just see show of hands? Wow, this is like fantastic number. I mean, almost 60%, maybe more, the number of organizations represented here already have various forms of automation implemented. Is there anybody who wants to share what has been your journey? What's actually happened? Yeah? Yes. Sanjeev, I just want to yes, please.
Hi, my name is Anup Kapoor. I am head of Global Operations for Infosys BPO. We have been at the journey of RPA from quite some time. And I feel, by no measure, RPA is a transformation lever. Might take borrow principles from the reason is it is very incremental. So what RPA you are doing, you are only trying to eliminate the manual effort from a certain process without really transforming that process. There are many more levers on the digital side which are much more impactful. This is my experience so far. In fact, we have been able to create more efficiency out of old earlier levers. For example, small macros, automation, low hanging automation. I don't think RPA is really possible. This is my.
Yeah, that's absolutely. Need not be transformational at all, because at the end of the day, automation, you're automating a defective piece of process, then you're only making it faster and creating more chaos than what it already has. And you're right, you can actually do a lot of other stuff from traditional classic applications as well to be best opportunities. Sanjeev, one classic example of something that Syngenta has done. I mean, I'm a big fan of Syngenta as well. So, you want to share your story?
Yes, and so thank you. So I think both the panelists talk about this, but my side to perspective. One, when we do a digital journey on RPA, I think we need to see whose KPI is this. Typically, at the senior level, ends up being a CIO KPI. It will never work. There has to be a partnership with the function because the knowledge will come from there, the developers will come from the IT. The technology is the beginning. The second thing that we looked at implementing RPA, backline, and some of the cognitive tools was what is the business impact and how does it impact my customer experience? Because all of us are shared services and we are leading one of the other functions. But what we do has an impact on the customer experience, right? So when we are strengthening our processes, implementing RPA, we need to understand the impact. If we are taking a number that I need to have 10 RPAs, I will always fail because that will not have a desired impact. Somebody will question your malware. So I need to understand what is my business impact and how it's going to change my customer experience. And that is the two metrics we have been changing.
Not to say that ROI is a metric which should not be tracked. I mean, I'm a very big fan of business cases. Without a business case, accountant by birth, so it seems. So business cases, we don't have a business case. It is, I find it very difficult to walk out. But yes, you're right. ROI is certainly not the only thing that.
Correct. Business impact, the customer experience, and the third thing is not necessarily not to build your own capability. There are partners which are available which brings that knowledge to develop the RPA. So we should choose a mixed model of building our own team plus the help of, we started with the help of Automation Anywhere or other partners to help us build that. And then it became a joint KPI for us. So technology is an enabler, technology is never a solution, right? And we always see that now, that whether we're implementing smart tools, whether implementing another tool or cognitive. And I think our friend IC talked about using jobs. The message we have gone is that we have to reskill our people. I'm not saying many people or many shared services firing people because of RPA. But what has happened is, if you look at the value metrics, which are much higher gone up in India, and our KPIs have changed from being transactional to more value creation, then being a traditional KPIs, when the RPA or the other solutions are not there. So I think we need to reskill our people, we need to go back and see what's the end-to-end process look like, and how efficient we are. So cost plus transactions, what is, so instead of on-time payments or something, what you track our business KPIs like DI or DSO or A2R, and now we're doing predictive on A2R because ours is an agriculture business now. We are creating solutions who will pay us, who will not pay, or what will end up on the monsoon this year, and will the farmers pay us or not pay us. And so we have different solutions and different business methods we try to change. The technology is always available.
Well, just to correct you, I never said that people will do jobs. I said technology will create more jobs. So that will enable the job. So AI will, even if we use 75 million jobs, it will create 128 million jobs. So the recipe lies in reskill.
I think one of the other things that you mentioned was around transforming, you mentioned the word center of excellence.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of companies are now moving towards that part of transforming their finance team towards finance center of excellence, for example, where it is more focused on delivering some strategic insights or value-based work rather than doing the mundane data entry work that used to be done, which is now being automated. So processes like R2R, P2P, performance management, including so on and so forth.
One of the conversations that Ravi and I were having earlier, how do we redefine AI instead of it being artificial intelligence has to now transform into augmented intelligence. And the intention really being for the intelligence to be able to augment humans rather than to replace them. And so this fear about being get replaced and the jobs will get lost, etc., is something it's not really right. As soon as you can realize that it is there to help you do your job rather than to replace you.
This is not happening for the first time. When the industrialization came, that kind of all here. So when IIT came, then there was year. To me, I think we are riding a third wave of business transformation where we are saying that machine and human will complement each other. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, you are a good.
So I just wanted to come back to needs and versus development. And also, I think what Anup said that, RP is may not be transformation. Transformation has to come from within. But look at the background. If we talk about the cultural issues, we have been traditionally IT services or business services nation. And our revenue comes from number of people we employ, traditionally. And that's where, when the transaction pricing came to India, we started counting everybody and we became majority, some people took that cut. Similarly, as of today, what I feel, when we go and pitch to a customer about the business to come to India, we talk about number of people. That mindset needs to change. That when we go for the whole project. We say from the beginning we talk about transformation organization. We don't take the 500 or 1,000 FTE and then say we will do it 5%, 10% improvement per year to you and all that, and that's called passion. So if you need real transformation change, the transformation needs have to be taken from the marketplace, and somebody need to do it, otherwise somebody else. So
I've seen that happening actually.
It has started, but not to the scale. Otherwise, it might be very late for us.
Yeah. So one of the things that we noticed, and again, as our study has pointed out, that while, like you rightly mentioned, the pricing models continue to remain predominantly headcount-based or seats on the long-term seats, FTEs, the right way to say this, is true that it's still the predominant pricing mechanism. But that's not the only one which was like, for example, 5 years ago, one couldn't think of anything more than just basic FTE-based pricing models, or maybe even more than 5 years ago. But over a period of time, that mindset has changed now because it's not about headcount anymore. It's not about sheer people. Like you said, transformational changes on the whole project as a whole, which is important. Whether we deploy 10 people to it, 5 bots, and just 2 people do it, it's really my own job to create that transformation. Absolutely great. Yeah. Anybody else wants to share any of their stories about how they managed to? Yes, sir. Over to you.
So, I don't want to talk about experience, but certain observations I've had, and it came to my mind, could be a little controversial, but these are just my observations. I think so. First observation I had is a lot of the automation actually is very good, is adopted over time, but many times they come across as failing or not being successful because a lot of us collectively and a larger diaspora is responsible for creating a bubble with our marketing teams. Initially, when RPA came, the amount of news that came around it created a lot of bubble. I remember there were news coming from organizations where the certain business has 14,000 employees, and they said we've automated 10,000 employees with RPA. And I was wondering, does that mean they're left with 4,000? So we create a lot of bubble, and what happens is a lot of naive buyer go after that bubble, and the next thing that happens is a report, like Process Resources, publish a report a little later after, a couple of years after that 73% of the RPA buyers are dissatisfied of overpromise and underdelivery. Probably it was not underdelivery, probably it was overpromise created by a lot of marketing bubble. I just feel that sometimes things which are absolutely fine doing what they were supposed to do, we just create too much bubble on them. That's hype is what too much hype. That's one observation, and the other observation is that change management and transformation agenda sometimes is not fully understood. I heard you say earlier that AI is going to take 75 million jobs, but create 128 million. But the skill set of that 128 is going to be dramatically different from the 75 that I have. Right? A lot of times, the change management for penetration is done by creating the chief digital officer and 200 people underneath that, who basically focus on creating products, selling them, but the 40,000 people outside of those 201 are not really understanding what change management I have to go through if I have to be the part of that 128 million. So the change management goes beyond introducing products and bringing in automation, but it also goes in transforming the business for the change that's going to come to you with the digital. And sometimes, not sometimes, in my experience, very often, is understood less than what it is and executed even lesser. And that those are some of the things that actually create a lot of negative news eventually about the automation, which fundamentally have nothing wrong with it and continues to be delivered and adopted in the way it is meant.
Right, again, change management, to go back to a very fundamental thing. Change management is always an issue, not just like I said, RPA is not the only thing, digital is not the only thing. Change management being an issue right from the very beginning, even before automation or any industrialization came into existence. And how the participation level has increased to a certain level that every person feels that I should have been very much a part of the program, and you guys should have told me well before I taken my buy-in, before that change was implemented or taken to place, and things like that. So, any of you want to share your experience on how organizations have go through simple change management programs for not necessarily just RP or digital, but anything. Maybe Sanjeev, you have a view on this? How did Syngenta, for example, very big changes. I'm sorry, I keep coming back to putting you on spotlight.
Yeah, so for us, the biggest change was that we don't have a shared services organization. But we still don't have biggest shared services. But I think the change really starts from the top. But what we did was we had the cross teams working across leading that change. So it's not a change which is a mandate which comes down and then you implement. Most of the people don't buy in, but they're forced to do it because it's a mandate. Right? So you need to go back and so we recently changed our values, purpose, vision, everything got changed with the new CEO. So we had a program which ran multiple sessions across, taking employees through that session, 3 days at a stretch, working through them. And then the digital change which we did, we have now digital ambassadors on the floor. We run experimentation sessions on RPA, on backline, on POCs. And these are finance core people who doesn't have a digital background or an IT background. And these digital champions are implementing and taking through sessions on sessions with different teams, what it means for the people. So I think it cannot be a mandate. People have to be part of the journey. They need to be taken through and they need to feel included. And I think that's what has been a successful mantra for us transforming this. I think we have gone through various transformations, and that's how so far we feel that we have been very successful by UVP, providing more ecosystem.
So stakeholder buy-in is an absolute necessity, without which changes are likely to fail big time. All the good intentions will go down the drain, absolutely. So I think this has been a really good conversation. Unfortunately, that's about the only time we really have. If there are any other really questions that we have for either the two expert panels of Vidya or any other conversation that you want to have a comment that you'd like to make, we wrap the session up. Anyone? Not really? All right, then. Thank you very much for being a fantastic part of the panel, everybody, and those who are not contributed verbally. I'm sure has emotionally been so much a part of this engagement program. Thank you very much, and over to you, Patty.
Thank you, Sanjay. May I call upon Rakesh Sinha, please, on the stage to hand over a memento of thank you to all the panelists over here. Thank you, Rakesh. Thank you. May I call upon stage Mr. Anand Maheshwari to deliver a vote of thanks. He is the founder director of Princess Global Private Limited and also the member for Governing Council Shared Services Forum.
A very good evening to all of you. What an evening it has been when we all been sort of transformed from the mundane to what is could be extraordinary. So I take a great pleasure in proposing a very hearty vote of thanks to all the people who made this evening a really memorable one. First and foremost, I'll try to take as little time as possible, but I will be carrying my duty if I don't name a few individuals. First and foremost, Mr. Vineet Nair for the scintillating and very engaging discourse on how to move a boarding train or how to get pushed up on a boarding train called life. So thank you very much, sir. I specifically want to thank Mr. Veeranathan, always a great patron and supporter of our forum, for taking time out on a busy day and coming amongst us. Thank you. It has been a great effort by our panelists to take us from high-level philosophy of transformation to some of the practical nuances, practices, etc. So, great job by Dear Sanjay for moderating the session, and a fantastic addition to the intellectual power of this evening by both IC, the coolest guy, who talked about an intelligent enterprise, and of course, Rahul, who talked about how the learnings of can become relevant for this era of this. And what actually made this evening standing out today is that Shared Services Forum, through this audience, has achieved something remarkable. Two parts. One, the entire format of the leadership interaction event, which was meant to be more compact, cozy, 35 to 50 people type of event, has taken shape of a full-fledged conclave type of event. In fact, the venue is the same where we have done many of our national conferences. So, a big round of applause to this audience, all of you. And the second part was the way the audience became the veterans. Remarkable. My special mention of veterans like Sanjeev, Tanmay, and first-timers like Anup, and some other people whose name I could not pick up. So, my apologies to them, but a big round of applause to everyone. And last but not the least, the organizing team. If I can borrow some terminology, Rakesh Adani, Pallavi and Manoj and Sunil and Rachna and many others who made this event happen. Believe me, lot of efforts goes behind. Thank you very much once again. Have a great evening. You can unwind and continue to have more interactions. Thank you.